Feud is, to me, a little grandiose and formal for my story. It's more like a family tussle. But when I started dating my now wife, I know you're not supposed to bring props, but she's there. And when we first started dating, does everybody have a cousin-in-law who has had a mullet for so long that like this move is habitual, you know? And on his still active MySpace profile, where it says favorite book, he has written "Who the fuck reads?" So that her cousin, that guy, was getting married soon into our relationship. Our relationship was not very old, and I was like, yeah, well, all right, I'm going to the wedding with you. I'll be your date. And she's like, no, you don't have to come to this. You won't have a good time. And I was like, well, I don't have a good time at any wedding. You know, like, but it's, you know, I felt it was my duty to go and accompany her. I'm not going to send her out by herself, and I was the boyfriend, and that's what you do. And she's like, no, really. And I should have known when her sister didn't go and said, I'll catch the next one. But so we went to they say upstate, but I feel like upstate would suggest north, which it is not. It's like you just get on a highway and you go like further away from people who vote like you. You know, like I think towards the middle, more the middle of the state. So they say upstate, and it was held in a trailer park community center. And I tell you that not because I'm not a classy guy, and I'm not above being in a community center in a trailer park. But the reason I bring that up is because it's a very small tube with no ventilation. And for whatever reason, the ceremony was like at 10 a.m. and the reception was at like 6 in the same spot. So, you know, we're just in there, and everybody smokes. You know, so you can imagine, and it was freezing cold, so I'm just like sitting there, and every once in a while, like go to the door, like, and we go back in, and so you know, it was fine. I had a lovely time meeting some family members that I hadn't met before. But did I tell you guys that the wedding party consisted of, I think, her maid of honor was just her sister, who was a very, very tough woman, very tough, very masculine woman, and she was wearing a blue button-down shirt and khaki pants, which at the time was like the Blockbuster uniform, you know? And so anyway, towards the end of the ceremony, there was a tradition that I didn't know about. I don't know if it's an old tradition or it's an upstate tradition or whatever, but the bride was in the center of the dance floor, and all family members and friends created a circle. And do you guys know about this? And held hands, and they're, you know, kind of parading around the bride. It was very nice, and you know, it's kind of like we're all. And the job of the groom was to break that chain, was to get from the exterior of it to the interior to get his bride. And I'd never heard of it, but like, yeah, I'm game. So we're playing, and he's standing like someone ready to double dutch. You know, he's like kind of like waiting for his moment. And I thought it was just kind of a formality. Like, okay, when he's ready to go, we go, and he takes his bride. And I don't know if it was a coincidence or not, but he chose to try to go between the hands of the maid of honor and her girlfriend, which very shortly was obvious to me that either, I don't know if they didn't like him or they didn't like men or whatever, but they held on, like that circle closed around her, and they held on for dear life. And you know, like leading up to there, to me, like holding hands was always like a sign of affection, or it was like really lovely or sweet. But they were like using their hands like a tandem punch. They're like clobbering him, and he's like, you know, and he comes up with his transition glasses, like like he was just battered. He went into the circle and got spit back out of it, and then he kept getting up and kept choosing that spot. Like maybe, I don't know if it was bravado or they're like, they're not going to keep me from my bride. And you know, I'm like, you know, right here, you know, like raising our hand. And so anyway, but that was a very magical moment, and what was otherwise, for me, a very memorable moment, which was otherwise a kind of, it was a very long day. And so I learned that day in the trailer parks, community center trailer, to trust and listen to the advice of my wife.